same story of Moses explained here in detail. It's here in this chapter, Tahā, and then in another chapter, Surah Al-Qasas, well, we'll see story of Moses discussed in detail. And about Moses, historically, Moses' time is around 1500 BC. That is 3,500 years backwards from now. 3,500 years backwards from now. Yes, that's what Moses' time. That's historically and geographically. Moses was born in North African country, Egypt. And about Jesus' birth, how that happened, and what were the circumstances at that time. Here we see Quran says, "Hal ataka hadith Musa." O Muhammad, peace be upon him, has the story of Moses reached you? Is ra'a nara, recall when he saw fire. Faqala li ahlim kusu. Then with the sighting of the fire, he said to his family, "You stay here, inni anasu nara, I perceive fire from a distance. La'ali atikum minha bikabas. Perhaps I may get some torch, a torch, that means a burning piece of fire I may get from here. Or I may find guidance from the fire." Why did it happen? For that we have to learn some background story. It is around 3,500 years back that the children of Israel, that time were living in Egypt. They were there for 400 years because when the children of Israel, that means children of Jacob, Bani Israel, whom we call, when did they migrate? Their original land is Palestine and Canaan, which was part of Syria. And how did they reach Egypt? We know that it was in the time of Prophet Joseph, when passing through different phases, when he was thrown by his stepbrothers into a well just to eliminate him, but how Allah, by his will and by some miracles, brought him to Egypt, and he passed through different phases of trials and tribulations, and finally it resulted that Prophet Joseph or Yusuf became the ruler of Egypt. That's a long story. We already read that in chapter Joseph, Yusuf, Surah Yusuf. And then he called his family, all members. Jacob was his father, Yaqub. And he had a big family, including Joseph. He had 12 sons. Then Joseph had become the ruler of Egypt. The rest of the family, that means Jacob, his wives, and together with his 11 sons, their wives, their children, the grandchildren of Jacob, they were living in Canaan or Palestine. And then, Joseph invited them as a ruler. That then, there was a migration led by great prophet Jacob. He was Israel, another name for him. So they were Bani Israel, children of Jacob. And they migrated to Egypt and settled there. They were the ruling family. Now, but after some time, things started changing. After the death of Joseph, things started changing. Children of Israel forgot their mission, forgot their religion, forgot their monotheism. They forgot their religion and the path shown by their great-grandfather Abraham, followed by the path of Isaac, Isaac, and Jacob and Joseph. They forgot all this and started indulging in polytheism and were influenced by Egyptian beliefs and ideas. The result, they were rendered powerless by Allah's will. And another, an Egyptian family, which was called Pharaoh, because Pharaoh is not name of a person, whom we call Pharaoh in Arabic. It's not a name of a person, but it's a dynastic name. As you see in any country, like we say Mughal kings. Mughal is not a name. One Mughal king succeeded another. There was Babur, he was Mughal king, and then followed by Humayun, and then followed by Akbar, then Jahangir, like that. The Aurangzeb and all that, they were Mughal rulers. Similarly, Pharaoh was a name of dynastic name. One Pharaoh would succeed the another. But they were so harsh against children of Israel. They subjected them all kinds of cruelties, oppression. They declared them that they're the foreigners. They have come from other country and ruled us. So we should take revenge from them, crush them. And pharaohs, one after the other, started crushing these children of Israel. And it continued for centuries altogether. Then these children of Israel, they were basically Muslims, believers in one God, worshippers of one God, great monotheists, but they had diverted from that. But finally they could feel that we should repent, turn back to God, and started by remorseful, started repenting for this. Allah accepted their repentance, and it was from among the children of Israel, who numbered now in hundreds and thousands of them. They were great increasing numbers in Egypt, but were tortured and subject to all kinds of cruelties by Pharaoh and his ruling clique. And ultimately, a baby was born from amongst the children of Israel, who was going to be later Musa. And he was, Allah had chosen him as a prophet, as a leader of the children of Israel, who would deliver them from the clutches of Pharaoh and grant them independence and free them from all these atrocities and killings at the hands of Pharaoh and his people. So that time, we'll see in this chapter itself mention of that. Just next time, once we start the next class, we'll see that. That Pharaoh was terribly, they were terrible against children of Israel. So they wanted to annihilate them, to make them extinct, to finish them off. So Pharaoh had one of them, who was the ruler at that time. He had issued a decree that every newborn baby boy, male boy, among the children of Israel should be assassinated, killed. And so with this decree, hundreds and thousands of innocent newborn babies, male babies, were killed. It was simply a process to annihilate them, to get these children of Israel merged, so that they merge in Egyptian population, and they will be finished. It was during that time that Moses was born. And trying to connect it with this today's story, what we're reading in chapter Tahā. And when he was born, Moses' mother was so grieved. She used to shed tears. Well, how can I see my son? He's such an innocent boy. She didn't know who was he, what his son was going to be. She was grieved. She hid her son, concealed him from others, so that nobody comes to know. Because there were agents of some police personnel and other informers who used to move around in the colonies of children of Israel to find if any male boy is born, male baby is born, so that he will be maybe killed. But mother of Moses hid him. But how long could she? When Moses was around 3 months old, the worry of his mother grew with every passing day. She started thinking, how can I now save my son? At that time, we see in this chapter itself, just next class we feel these things will help us in understanding those verses. Mother of Moses got inspiration by Allah's will. This idea came to her. It was somehow inspiration from Allah the Almighty. Oh, Musa, that means, oh mother of Moses, don't you worry. You are worried about your son. Need not to worry. Don't grieve. You just put this baby boy in a box, in a tabut, what we call box, on a chest, and then throw that chest in the water, Nile river. And you will see what's going to happen. I'll save him. And he'll be taken care. He'll be nursed. He'll be brought up by his enemy. That means he will be brought up by Pharaoh. Poor mother, how could she understand all this? But she followed the divine command which she received as revelation or inspiration. And she put that Moses, the baby boy, just 3 months old, in a box, in a chest, and threw it in the river. And the Nile River passed, they carried this box or chest. And the palace of Pharaoh's palace, was situated just on the bank of Nile. And what happened? That when this box was floating down, at the time, Queen, that's Pharaoh's wife, they say she was Asia perhaps, she was on the bank of the river with her maids, enjoying as we see today. There's high people enjoying as swimming pools. That was a natural swimming pool for them. They were going through some enjoyment. Incidentally, this queen was childless. She had not born any baby. So what happened? One of her maids sighted a box floating down. Just out of curiosity, she went towards the shore and then wanted to see what's inside. What's this box all about? And when she took hold of this box, opened the lid, she cried with joy. She said, "Oh, what a wonderful boy, this baby in this box." And there's also Quran mentions Allah had endowed Moses with such a handsomeness, with such beauty, that everybody would get attracted towards him with a slight smile on his face. And especially women, women are so much enthusiastic about babies. She cried. Since Queen was also childless, she asked her maid, "Come on, sir, show me what this baby is all about." And this maid, there were other maids also around, she brought her to the Queen. And Queen, while having a look on this baby, was so much happy, so much, he attracted her towards him. And she lifted him in her lap. Said, "What a wonderful boy it is." And that she was childless. A childless woman has special attraction for babies, wishing that I too had a baby or son or daughter like that. So she took it as a gift and carried it to her palace. While in palace, she told her husband, that Pharaoh, "Oh Pharaoh, oh my husband, dear husband, today I have a special gift for you." He said, "What's it?" She took her baby out from her lap and put it in the lap of Pharaoh. Pharaoh at first said, he was also shocked, pleasantly shocked, but immediately an idea struck him. He said, "Oh, my wife, oh Queen, maybe she may belong to, or he may be belonging to children of Israel. The kids, male babies, are ordered to be slaughtered and killed." But tender-hearted Queen said, "Oh, my dear husband, why should we kill an innocent baby boy? How can he harm you or me? We'll take care of him. We'll bring him up. At any stage of life, if you feel he will turn inimical to you, nobody can stop you from doing anything or kill him or do anything. But such a baby, such an attractive baby," unless ultimately the Pharaoh was also convinced, and they decided to adopt him and nurse him and bring him up in palace. So it was conveyed this message to the mother of Moses. And now was the time to breastfeed the baby. That time there was no artificial feeding, only breastfeeding. But incidentally, this baby boy, Moses, didn't accept any breast to suck this milk for him. So there was a problem. Queen was again grieved. Said, "What can I do now? This baby boy is going to die." All the maids came around who were specialists. They tried to feed the baby, but he refused. Everybody's breast, every woman, he refused. But mother of Moses had taken care. When she threw that box carrying Moses into Nile water, the river, that time Moses had an elder brother, Aaron, who was 4 years elder to him, and an elder sister who was around 10 or 12 years older than Moses. She had asked her daughter, "Oh, my daughter, I'm under Allah's inspiration. I'm throwing your brother, young brother, baby brother, into waters in the box, but you move around the banks. You see what's going to happen to him, just for my satisfaction." And that young girl, 10, 12 years old, was moving along the bank just to see where this box is carried and what is going to happen to it. And she was observing from a distance, so that she is not being noticed by anyone. And she found that it was taken by, first by Mayor, then by Queen, and then they were happy, enjoying. They were so, the daughter, the sister of Moses was also happy. Thank God, my brother is perhaps in the safe hands. And but once the baby was carried to the palace, she was apprehensive. I don't know what's going to happen to my brother. Maybe Pharaoh kills him. But after some time, the maids came out. They were worried. Moses' sister asked him, "What's the problem? What has happened here?" She said, "You are too young to understand all these things." She said, "What's it?" She said, "Our queen had got a gift, a son. But the problem is queen is grieved. She's grief-stricken. The baby is not accepting milk from any woman around." This time, this sister of Moses said, "Oh, maids, will you accompany me? I'll show you a woman who's a professional. She can feed any baby." They were elated because the queen had announced a reward for any woman which will bring a nurse for this baby. And these maids rushed to the house of Moses. And their sister went inside, told her mother that such and such thing has happened. Let us not disclose our identity, that she is our brother or son. But they need a nurse, and let's go. And the maids requested mother of Moses to come along. The queen is waiting eagerly. King is also going to reward her if she can feed the baby. Moses' mother, with tears in her eyes, tears of joy, she reached palace. There she is received good welcome. And once she takes the baby in her lap and starts feeding the baby, yes, obviously, young Moses starts drinking milk from the breast of his own mother. This was the Quran mentioned this. "Oh, Moses, didn't I grant you a great favor? That I saved you from the evil plan of Pharaoh. And then I got you brought up by your enemy," that's Pharaoh. "Not only that, but I didn't separate you from your mother. I connected back you to your mother. Not only that, your mother got all the rewards for feeding you." It's surprising. You can see what a great miracle it is. Queen and king and all people around just started giving gifts to Moses' mother. And she was employed as a nurse, permanent nurse for Moses. With this, Moses was connected with his mother. And simultaneously, he was brought up in the palace as a prince. He grew up with everything: food, training, education, warfare, horse riding, sword wielding, anything. As a prince, Moses got everything, but not at the cost of his faith. When Moses grew up, maybe 4 or 5 years or so, he was with his mother also. Mother told him, "Musa, but don't disclose your identity. You are my son, actually. But this thing has happened at the time of your birth. But keep it with you." But simultaneously, she would give him full advice that, we don't belong to Egyptians. We are children of Israel. We belong to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph's line dynasty. We are believers in one God, and we were supposed of one God. So should you do all follow. So on spiritual and moral level, he got training from his mother. But as for worldly affairs, education, training, warfare, sword wielding, throwing arrows and everything, horse riding and stuff, he got brought up as a prince. That's the story of Moses. And when Moses grew up, and cutting it short, we'll read a piece of it here in this chapter, and then further details in chapter Al-Qasas, Surah Al-Qasas. When Moses was a young man, maybe 19, 20, around their 20s, early 20s, he used to visit the city just to see the plight of his people. And sometimes he would go to in the areas where children of Israel were living in a very dire situation, circumstances. Below poverty line, they were crushed, they were persecuted, oppressed, subject to cruelty. Moses would like to see it, and what can I do for their betterment? Because he also belonged to them. He knew it now through his mother. Then one day, an episode, I'm cutting it short because we'll read the detail in Quranic text itself later. One day, in early morning, when Moses was moving around the area of children of Israel, he found at a distance, two persons fighting with each other. From a distance, you could feel one of them was children from amongst Bani Israel, Muslim children of Israel, and another was a strong Egyptian. And this Egyptian was beating mercilessly this Bani Israel person. And the victim was crying, "Oh, is there anybody who can save me? He is beating me, he is trying to kill me." Moses went straight there after all. He had to take care. He went forward, but he had changed his dress. Nobody could recognize him. And he asked that Egyptian, "Leave him alone." But Egyptian, he didn't care. He didn't know that Prince was talking to him. When he refused, Moses went ahead and simply with his fist, he pushed him. No, he had no intention to kill him. It was only to release that person, victim, from his clutch. But that fist, that strike proved fatal. The Egyptian fell down. Maybe his head or some body part struck against a stone or something. He died there and then. Moses was grieved. He said, "Oh, what is the problem? I had no intention to kill him. It was not an intentional killing. He simply wanted to push him around, and so that this victim or children from among children is released from pain." With this, he went back. But he was thinking, is it a sin? But it was not actually a sin. It was unintentional. He never intended to kill anybody. Then after a few days, he came back to me just to see what had happened. That time, killing an Egyptian was considered to be a great crime. That too, in the area of children of Israel. It was like ancient India. A Shudra would kill the Brahmins. You can imagine how grave a sin that was considered. Moses was moving around. He again heard some cries from some person. "Oh man, is there anybody who can save me? Who can save me?" Moses could recognize the sound. He came closer. He found the same person from among the children of Israel, from his own dynasty, fighting with some Egyptian again. Moses could feel that, in fact, he's not a right person. He's inviting trouble. He's unnecessarily exploiting emotions and sentiments of others. Moses came forward and asked him, "I can understand you are the quarrelsome person. You are not the right man. I'll take care." Moses straightway went towards him. That man had seen that just few days back, with just a strike of a fist, an Egyptian strong man was dead. So he thought that maybe if he strikes me or pushes me hard, I may also die. He started crying, "Oh, save me, this is the man who had killed Egyptian few days back." He started crying. And there was this hue and cry around. Because till then nobody knew who had killed that Egyptian. Now it became, the secret was open. Moses was exposed that he had killed Egyptian. It was a great crime. And this news reached even the palace, where Pharaoh and his chiefs got the report that, in fact, Moses had killed an Egyptian. And by that time, with every passing day, Pharaoh was feeling in the hearts of hearts that this boy sometime may create problems for me. So he was keeping a close eye on him. But now with this incident, it was clear. So king issued a warrant against apparently his son, adopted son. But now he stood exposed that he belongs to the children of Israel. He had killed an Egyptian. And police or other forces, people started a search for Moses to catch him and punish him according to the line of the law. Maybe he would have been hanged also. There was a well-wisher of Moses in the palace. When he could see that people, they are thinking about arresting Moses and then subjecting him to the law of the land and killing him perhaps, he went all the way to search for Moses and found him somewhere and started pleading him, "Oh Moses, there's a conspiracy to arrest you and kill you. You save yourself. You save yourself." Moses said, "I have not killed anybody intentionally. It all happened by accident." He said, "No, I have seen, I'm from the palace. You know me. I know you because there have been many favors of yours on me. So I'm repaying that. There's a conspiracy to kill you. They're planning to kill you." With this, Moses left everything. He left Egypt through very hard routes because people, police or other people, they were pursuing him to arrest wherever he could be found. So he adopted a path which was so hard over mountains, deserts. He wanted just to save himself from the curse of Pharaoh. And after traveling weeks altogether, maybe more than months, through these deserts, hungry, not properly clad, nothing to eat, nothing to drink, so weak, turned, and tired. And finally he reached a city, he found a town where he had reached. And there, I'll not call about that details, we will see in chapter Al-Qasas. In that city was the city of Midian, or what we call Madian. There he met an old man, a respected old man, and he told Moses, "Need not to worry," after listening whole story from Moses, that you are not in Egypt. This is not an Egyptian territory. Pharaoh has no control on this land. You are free from now Pharaoh's this government or his sphere of influence. You stay with me. He provided him shelter, and Moses stayed there for some time. And after some time, the old man could see great qualities of this young man, Moses. That old man had 2 daughters. He offered one daughter in marriage to Moses, which after due consideration, Moses accepted. And Moses got married to his daughter named Sufra, or Sufra we call her, Sufra. But with this condition, that old man said that I have nothing to take, there's no one to care my family or take care of me, belongings, everything here. So I will give my daughter to marriage to you, but you have to stay here for at least 8 years. Or if more, 2 more years, that's your ritual, but you have to stay with me, take care of all this, my home affairs, domestic affairs, or my fields and my cattle and all that you have to take care for at least 8 years. Moses accepted this condition and he stayed there for 8 years or 10 years. Now a married person. And after the fulfillment of the time period, decided time period, Moses sought permission from his father-in-law to go back, and he didn't refuse. And Moses, with his family, maybe he might have kids there by now, they left Midian city and started traveling through the desert back to Egypt, to their home, in a secret manner, so that nobody could notice their arrival. He thought that he will straight away go to his mother's house, father's house, his parental house, and sit there. And it is through this journey that it was cold, this winter time, and during night, when Moses and his wife and maybe kids also, they were in a tent. It was nighttime. Wife asked almost, when Moses asked her to cook something and make some heating arrangements, wife Sufra said, "Yes, I don't have anything to lit my fire, to lit the wood, to kindle wood so that we can get some heating arrangement or some cooking facility." Moses said, "Okay." Coming out of the tent, he had a look around. He could see from a distance a fire was burning. He said, "Oh, wife, oh, Sufra, stay here. You be here. I perceive there's some fire at a distance. I will go there. Maybe I bring a piece of fire, but what we call torch. It was used to be torch in olden times. We'll get a torch or a piece of fire, with which we'll warm themselves and then make cooking arrangements. But stay here." And she stayed here. Moses went towards the fire. This story was explained in this chapter.